Today's mod will offer great protection for your Tacoma, but not in the way you expect from the Tacomaholic channel. Welcome back to the Tacomaholic channel, everybody. I know you're having a fantastic day. I am. The sun is shining. It's like 65 degrees, so we're going to work on the truck with a fun mod. If this is your first time stopping by and you love everything related to Tacomas, please go ahead and smash that subscribe button. And let's get to the mod. And today we will be installing the Thinkware F800 Pro Dashcam. Now you guys normally know, probably for protection mods, I'm usually thinking armor and stuff on this channel, but I live in Northern Virginia and we have got to have some of the worst traffic in the country, and this is a must-have for where I live. And probably where you live. You know there's tons of idiot drivers out there. So today we will go over the install for this. Now here is everything included in the kit. You see you have the dash cam right up here on top. Got a mounting plate right here. Here is the plug for your cigarette lighter. If you just want to plug it in, you can of course go that route and you are good to go once you mount it on your windshield. However, I will be using the hardwiring kit, which is sold separately. Links for all this down in the description below. And using the hardwire kit will allow you to use the parking feature on the dash cam, so when your vehicle is turned off, it draws just a small amount of power from the battery, which will shut off if it is in danger of draining the battery. So with the park mode on, you're not in the truck, someone backs into a parking lot, you are covered. Of course, you have some mounting tabs for running the wire, some 3M adhesive for installing on the windshield. You got the memory card for the recording, and it even comes with a USB to transfer that to your computer. In the case you do get into an accident, you can move the footage over easily. If you are going to hardwire the dash cam, you will need some crimpers, a pair of add-a-fuse taps with the appropriate fuse, some heat shrink tubing and a mini heat gun, a circuit tester, and some long nose pliers. A snake, and I'm going to be using a snake line to run the wires through the firewall to the inside of the truck. Now, to successfully install the hardwiring kit, you do need to find a constant and an ACC or accessory fuse under your fuse box right here. And while you're searching around, when you find one, if you just look on the inside of your fuse box, it will tell you what those are. So to find those, you will take your circuit tester, go ahead and ground it on a metal bolt under the hood. I'm just using the one right over here on the side of the engine bay. Now we are looking for the constant first, so this will be one when the truck is completely off. Make sure the key is not in the ignition. This will light up on the fuse. You just take the tip of the circuit tester, touch it to the little metal prongs on the fuse, and this is a 10 amp fuse. You can see it lit up. And incidentally, this one is for the horn, so that is what I will use for my constant. And not sure if it's going to show on camera, but the other 10 amp fuse I will use for the ACC is over here for the EFI, fuel injection. You can see the truck is off, so it is not lighting up. When you turn the key to the on position, or just turn the truck on, and the key is in the ignition and the on switch, and you can see that does light up. So this 10 amp for the EFI is what we will use for the accessory tap. So now that I've found which fuses I will use from the fuse box, you can go ahead and take your pliers or one of those fuse removal plastic tools and remove the fuses in question. Be careful not to break them, and I will be installing these on the add-a-tap. You will take the fuse you removed from your truck and put it in the bottom slot on the add-a-tap. That will be for whatever item it was powering, in this case the horn for my constant, and you will take either the same size, in this case a 10A, or lower amperage, and put that on the top for the dash cam. One quick thing to point out, this is the fuse I removed from my truck for the horn in this case. It is one of the short leg versions, which will not fit in the add-a-tap. So all the fuses I bought, I had to get the same size in the long leg. In this case, both my constant and my accessory fuses, they're all 10 amps, so that is what I will be installing on the add-a-tap. And I discovered you really got to push the fuses to get them in there, so they're definitely tight. Just make sure you're doing it slow and controlled so you don't break off the legs.
Sweep the leg.
Next up, we are going to go ahead and assemble this end of the wiring. This is the hardwiring harness. You can see it has a black that we will ground on a screw under the engine bay, and then a yellow and red wire. They are both labeled. In my case, the red is ACCs for the accessory fuse, and the yellow is for the battery or constant fuse. So we will go ahead and take those, insert them here, and crimp. And since this is going to be under my hood, I'm going to go ahead and put a little heat shrink tubing under it just to keep it waterproof. Next up, we do need to find the positive and negative sides where we've removed the fuse, because where the wire actually runs into the fuses here, that is the negative side, so negative and then positive, and then you just need to orient that on the fuse accordingly. All you do for that, we are doing the constant first. Again, go ahead and ground your circuit tester, and the truck is off at this point, so I'm looking at it from the driver's side. For you, it'll be on the left side, but the right side for me is the positive. Then you touch the other side, no energy. So since the bottom side right here, right in this area, is the negative, my add fuse will come in this case from the battery side. And we need to do the exact same thing for the accessory fuse, which is this 10 amp right here. So go ahead and take your pliers and remove that. Again, this is the accessory. I do have the key in the ignition in the on position. Go ahead and ground your circuit tester. And in this case, the positive is on this side, so this add-a-tap will come in from the top like this. Next step to actually install all the add fuses and everything is to take the small grounding wire and ground that on metal. Like most of you, I'm probably just going to piggyback that right here on this bolt, which is just removed with a 10mm socket. I do have it safely grounded on the bolt, which is slightly off camera right there. Next step, go ahead and take the constant add-a-tap and insert it in the fuse slot. In my case, it was right here for the 10 amp. And again, the negative was on this side, which is where the wire is, so it will go down just like this. And here is the add-a-tap. Let me get that out of the way. Firmly pressed down. Now we will do the same thing for the accessory fuse, which was right over here in the middle. And again, the negative was on the top side, so the wire will come in from the top side. Now at this point, once you actually plug all those wires into the dash cam, it is technically installed, but before I hide the wires and do all that and get everything set up, obviously I'm going to test it out just to make sure it's working, and of course just to make sure my truck starts since I tapped into the fuel injection system. Okay, got the dash cam plugged in, got the app installed on my phone. I will put the key in the ignition and turn it on to get that started. And I did select the parking mode on the app from my phone. And if everything's working correctly, once you take the key out of the ignition, pull it out, wait about 30 seconds, this should make an announcement saying the parking mode will now start.
One eternity later.
Parking recording will now start.
Okay, so for the next step, going to get this installed on the inside of the car. Going to take the power for the dash cam, tape it to the end of my snake, and run that through the firewall. Always fun. Oh man, I don't want to jinx it, but I think I got it through the firewall on the first try. Let's go check. Oh God!
I hate snakes, Chuck!
I did actually get it through on the first try, which was amazing. So you can see first I had taped it up so the wire from the dash cam and the snake wire were actually next to each other, which I figured that's not going to be good. So I turned it around so they're facing each other, wrapped it around a few times, and then used some slick like packing tape, and it pulled right through. So hopefully I have enough slack, it looks like I should, to run it up the A-pillar and over so I can mount it. And you can see I've got about 5 inches of wire hanging down. I did have a little bit. I just ran it along the roof liner, tucked it up in there. Probably got about 3 extra inches sort of spooled up in here, down the A-pillar. And when I was running it up from underneath, you just pop this off to access the fuse panel. That makes that a whole hell of a lot easier because you can it's like a midway point. You can see, you can feed the wire up to yourself so you're not struggling with it when this is open right here. And you can see I've got it plugged in, gotta mess with the wire a little bit, but you can see on my smartphone I've got it hooked in so you can easily adjust the view, but that's perfectly centered. Got it tucked in so the camera is right underneath where my rearview mirror attaches. And that's pretty cool features. And that is pretty much it for the install. All right, everybody, and aside from maybe notching the top of the fuse box cover with a Dremel or something, just so it fully closes, that is it for the install. I will be doing follow-up videos showing the footage from the dash cam as well as the plethora of features it has, but that is it for today's install video. If you do want to pick one up, of course, check out the link below. As always, thank you so much for supporting the channel by watching this video. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next video.